Warning, the following video contains incoherent rambling, overly long explanations, extreme hatred for one of the Sims, and gnomes. Enter at your own risk. Hello guys, today I wanted to talk about drone simulators. At the end of 2024, there is a lot of drone simulator and drone game reviews out there on Steam. But I'm a very, very opinionated person, and I think most of them are wrong. And this is coming from someone who's been flying since April of this year, 2024. So I would class myself as maybe not a beginner anymore, but I definitely was a beginner. So when I was a beginner, I didn't know what drone sim to buy. And a lot of them have been since updated. New ones have come out, opinions have changed, quads have changed. So this is kind of a conglomerate, a conglomerate of all of that, based on my own opinions, because I'm always right, guys. No, I'm joking. But this is my opinion on what a good drone sim is. I'm going to go through all of the ones that I feel are worthy of mentioning. If there isn't a drone sim on here, it's either because I haven't personally flown it. I'm only going to review the ones that I have flown and I have tried and I do own on Steam, or you know, own on another platform if it's not on Steam. I will try my best to give you a overview of these sims and what you can expect from these sims. So without further ado, I am going to start the review with number 1, FPV.Logic on Steam. Now, FPV.Logic has to be a very, very strong contender. We have started off strong with this game. Game/sim. This is one of my personal favourites. The maps are the best. Well, there's a caveat to that, but the first two maps, Factory 1 and Factory 2, are the best, hands down maps in any drone simulator. The graphics are insane. So if you do have a slightly older PC or laptop, you might struggle a little bit. Go and look at the requirements on Steam. But this game is gorgeous, and the physics are just on point. They feel very nice. It might be a tad floaty, but it's way, way better than LiftOff. Having said that, there's not much customization in terms of drones. You have to just pick the drones that are in the game. You can only really fiddle about with rates and PIDs, I believe, and camera tilt, obviously. You can change the colour of the LEDs and your props, but that's all just, you know, who bothers with that anyway? You just want to get out and fly. But it's a nice addition. As you can see, I'm inside one of the factories, but there's a whole outside bit on this map, which I don't know why I didn't show that, but I think we're going to go to Factory 2. There's also racing in the game, like you saw. Now, the other maps feel a bit underdeveloped, which is another sort of downside to this. It's very slow in developing this game. It doesn't receive that many updates, but you do have some really cool features. The third-person view here is just wicked, and I can't actually believe I made that dive in third person. That was I was blessed by the FPV gods there. But look at, I mean, just look at the graphics, man. They are so good. Stick a filter on this, upload it to TikTok, people will think it was real. Absolutely crazy. I am stuck here. There we go. You can flip, obviously you can reset your quad, all the good stuff. There's the slow-mo in action. You can change how much it slows in the settings, which is really, really cool. It's definitely really, really fun to just fly about and have much, like, you know, just have fun with. I'd recommend it for that. I really do. Just, I don't like sticking to one sim because I don't like my thumbs to get accustomed to one sim. So I often switch my sims out so that I'm kind of ready for anything in the real world. Do you know what I mean? You know, say for example you're on Assetto Corsa, you know, and that's all you play all day every day. When you drive your car, it's going to feel weird. So in my opinion, I just like to switch it up a little bit. The racing mode is really fun. You can have up to 20 AI racers. You can turn collision on and off. As you can see, I'm an awful race pilot. I'm not built for racing. I'm not a racist. That was terrible. I'm not a racing pilot. I often miss the checkpoints because I find them in most games visually. I find it hard to see where the next checkpoint is. But this game actually does it really nicely. It's really colourful. The UI is just brilliant. It's actually probably my favourite UI in any racing scenario in drone sims. It's probably close to VelociDrone, but this one I think is actually hands down the best. The tracks aren't great though. The tracks could do with a bit of work. There's not many tracks. There's quite a few, but there's not many. Not like VelociDrone. But that's FPV.Logic on Steam. That was the cheekiest angle we managed to actually get in that. Oh, dude, I think that counts. I think that trick counts. The next one on our list is LiftOff. Now, LiftOff is kind of meh at everything. It's not to say that it's a bad simulator or a bad game. I definitely have some fun in LiftOff. I do see myself going over to LiftOff sometimes. There's a ton of quads, but I will say that there's not any micro quads on LiftOff. You have to download the whole separate game. It's not DLC, it's a separate game entirely, so you've got to buy a separate game, which is LiftOff Micro Drones, which is a little bit disappointing, because it would be nice to have it as a DLC with the maps and have all the things in one game, so you don't have to close the game and bring out another game. But the drone customization is based on parts in this game, so that's already something that FPV.Logic lacks, doesn't have, and it's pretty good. It does feel outdated, I have to admit. There's parts and frames that aren't really that popular. So you can't really go out and build like a newer style quad. It just feels very old school, sort of Rotor Riot sort of stuff. However, they do have lots of maps, but I will say the maps are very bland. Most of the maps are very bland. Not brilliant for freestyle, but there is some freestyle gems on here. Bando City, I quite like the green. It's quite a big open map, because most of the maps are quite small or just not that interesting. Obviously the load times in this game are a little bit longer than FPV.Logic, but there's a lot more in this game that FPV.Logic lacks. However, I will probably rate this lower, this game. Although this game's got the features such as multiplayer, FPV.Logic doesn't have multiplayer. So that's something to consider. I will give it merit for the automatic trick detection, which you can turn on and off. Please excuse my wonky ass flying. Whenever I hit record, I just become a complete idiot when it comes to flying. It's like, as soon as I hit record, I just can't fly my drone. But I mean, if you're into sort of larger maps, this game might be better for you than FPV.Logic. The physics aren't awful. They've definitely improved the physics. It does feel floaty. There is definitely a significant increase in the floatiness from the last game that we had a look at, FPV.Logic. So that is something to consider if that bothers you. I wish you can get rid of the vertical and the horizon lines there and just have the crosshair, which I don't think you can do because I don't fly with that or the compass. I only fly with the crosshair. But you got your stick overlays, which is nice. One thing as well is you can change the quad and the map on the fly, whereas FPV.Logic, excuse me, FPV.Logic, you do have to quit back to the main menu, which is something to consider. It's a little bit annoying. It's nice that they've included that as standard in this game. I don't know, FPV.Logic just seems to just fly better. I have a more fun time with it. LiftOff just seems to miss a couple of things. We're on Bando City map, which is probably their best map, the only kind of decent map. And it's nice. I do fly on this map quite often. Like I said, I always switch the simulators up just so that my fingers are always got something new, you know, so I'm not getting too complacent on one simulator. There's a terrible trippy spin of the crane. Oh, really bad exit. That's not the Sim's fault, that's my fault. But overall, it's fun. Is it worth the £17? Possibly, if you value multiplayer. Worth mentioning, obviously, the workbench that we saw earlier, but there is also that multiplayer functionality in this as well. I will show the racing now. Racing absolutely sucks in this game. I cannot bear the UI. You can't see the colours. The colours are really, really bad on the screen. I really don't race at all in this simulator. I'm not big on racing anyway, like I mentioned, so racing for me is something that I don't really do, but on other simulators I find myself, oh, you know what, I'll do a race. This simulator, I just don't bother. I don't bother, full stop. This is mainly for freestyle. Or at least for me, I mainly use this for freestyle. I've not really used the track builder, just purely because I don't really, you know, if I'm going to build a track, I want to build a track in a game that I actually do like more. I'm just not going to waste time building tracks on a game where the racing UI sucks. That being said, though, you could probably make sort of more freestyle tracks, but there's not, apart from maybe 2 or 3 maps, base maps, that you can track build on, there's not really that much space to really kind of build your own thing. Like Uncrashed does it a lot better with their like plain environments that you can build in, and you can just build the most insane stuff. We'll get to Uncrashed shortly. But I mean, as you can see, the UI is just, it doesn't help that my my camera tilt was a little bit shallow, on the shallow side. I think I could have tilted it up a little bit more, and I probably would have had a better time seeing the race elements. But it just feels a little bit cluttered, the screen. Yeah, overall, it's just kind of meh. I think if you have £17 to spend, I would spend it on FPV.Logic. That's my hands down opinion on these two comparatively. Right, for this one, guys, I thought I would record live while I play it because there's a lot to talk about VelociDrone. First off, it's worth mentioning, I did send Ash an email, the developer. My multiplayer button has disappeared, and he said it's due to work. But I won't let that determine my grading on the gnome scale for the lack of multiplayer. So just take that with a pinch of salt, guys, because there might be an issue for some people. Anyway, what is there to talk about in VelociDrone? First of all, loads and loads of quads. However, most of these are DLC quads. So, for example, the Freestyle 5 inches, this is all the DLC. You have to buy the DLC pack as well as the game. So you've got to buy the game and then you've got to buy the DLC pack. Micro quads, it's the same thing. You have to buy the DLC. But you've got a lot here. Mega Class is DLC as well. Toothpick, that's free, I think. These are really nice. I like these 3 inches. But as you can probably tell, these are odd looking 3 inches, right? Not odd, but like these are race ones, right? I mean, there's no 3-inch freestylers. You know, we don't really use these square frames. That one's probably close to a 3-inch freestyle-ish drone, but they've got the canopy. They're very race-orientated. This game is heavily race-orientated. If you are a drone racer and want the best drone racing game, you probably already own this game. If you want to get better at racing, then go ahead and buy this game, because I'm telling you guys, this is the best one for drone racing. There is nothing like it on the market. You've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tracks on about 50 different maps. There's maps that you get from the DLC, so you can get even more maps. So let's jump into it. I'm going to fly with the Nazgul F5 because it's close to my 4-inch Nazgul. I'm probably going to suck because I haven't played VelociDrone in a few days. But as you can see here, loads and loads of maps. And not only is there loads and loads of maps, stuff like Dynamic Polyworld, there's loads of tracks. And these aren't just race tracks, these are like full-on worlds in a way, right? So Freedom Lake, I've never played that one. Let's fly Freedom Lake and see what this one's like. Oh, my likes to come out of full screen for some reason. Here we go, here's Freedom Lake. You don't have to race, obviously there is a racetrack, but someone's made this in the track editor and uploaded it. Obviously you could do the same, you can make your own tracks in the track editor. My mouse is in the way. Full screen's a bit janky for me at the moment since I reinstalled. I don't know why that is, I have to keep pressing Alt and Enter. But as you can see, this is more of a race style map, but you could just practice and then you can obviously press start or bind that to a key on your controller. I'm using the DJI controller for all of these reviews in this video. I'm lost already. Oh gosh, sorry guys, I do apologise for my lack of skills. The UI colours could be better. I am not a huge fan of the colours and the line at the bottom. See, I'm lost already. Where am I going? I'm lost. Oh, up there. See, you can't see the blue on the blue sky. That's one downside. So that will negatively impact my review, at least somewhat, just slightly. Might shave half a gnome off. No, not that much. I can't really do the racing review justice because I'm awful. So, guys, please don't shoot the messenger. This is just my opinion. If you're a racer, you're going to have a way better time than me. But I won't let that impact negatively on my review, on the experience of the whole game. So let's do something a bit more freestyle orientated, which I'm good at. Oh, my drone's in a death loop in the background. Let's do maybe the Apocalypse map and do Apocalypse freestyle. Someone's just made like a non-track, if that makes sense. Really, I love this map. Really cool. It's not as dynamic as the tracks on FPV.Logic. It's cluttered, but it's like clutter that you can't really fly through. I mean, you can fly through the bus and stuff, but it's not. There's no interiors kind of thing, you know. One said that you can fly through the bus and completely crashes into it, but oh, guys, I'm so not used to this. Obviously, got all your quad settings here. I'm not used to these heavy drones, man. Let's change the drone up, and I'll showcase another map. This is the most unprofessional review ever. Guys, don't shoot me, please. This is just raw, you know, unedited, unfiltered review. So, look at it that way. Let's do... I really like the... Shipport. Actually, let's do... I've been doing this track, and I actually came 4th in the leaderboards for the open class in the Nazgul, which was kind of an achievement. And I'm not even a racer, but I could see myself. Well, I was practicing for ages trying to get the fastest single lap time, and I got it down to 27 seconds. Oh gosh. Oh, dude, it's whenever I hit record, guys. Whenever I hit record, I absolutely suck. But as you can see, these maps are very detailed. They are nice. I really do like them. The physics is the best in any sim. I don't care what anyone says. They can fight me. If anyone says it's Tryp FPV, I will go around there and I will cry in their pillow because... yeah, the physics in this are probably just, well, they're just the best in my opinion. He does a lot of testing. Ash, the developer, he only adds a quad in the game that he's flown himself. They go out and they get real world data. It's all very technical, but you could do all the stuff you want to do in this sim and it will feel pretty decent and very close to real life. So that's another thing that will boost this score. The multi-GP support, loads of race teams support on this. The multiplayer is forever booming. It's the most widely played FPV sim that there is on the market. So you've got all that functionality in this small package. It's just honestly one of the best FPV sims out there. Let's start the race and I will show you the top 5 reasons why I suck at racing. Coming to a new video. Oh god, guys, some days I'm just really good at racing, other days I'm not. Oh, I didn't reset. I do have a video on my channel with this track, and I do it very, very quickly without crashing. A lot better. I'm kind of in review mode, so anyway, that is the racing. Or lack of racing, as you saw in my case there, because I cannot do it. You've also got the track builder. It's quite an archaic track builder. Track manager, you can do it here. You can go to your downloaded tracks, import tracks. I don't know what that is, but you can create new tracks. You can create it in these maps here. So you can open up one of these. So say you open up factory. And then you've obviously got your things. It's just sort of click and do all these things. You can fly it. Oh, I track myself one and only star grid. I didn't put a star grid in, but you see the idea. You can add a bunch of assets in gates. You got all this stuff to play with. It's a little bit clunky. It's not as intuitive as the Uncrashed track builder. I would prefer using the Uncrashed one, but in this package and the game already being so good, and the fact that they even have this in the first place is just awesome. So that's VelociDrone. Really, really, really good. It's worth noting that it's not on Steam. You have to buy it off of their website. But other than that, that sums up this video for VelociDrone. moving on to FPV Skydive by Orca FPV. This one's on Steam and it's free to play. It's free to download. There is a couple of micro transactions, DLCs. You can see there. You can get some new quads. This one's really fun to play on stream. I play this on stream on my TikTok streams, which you can find more information on if you follow me on TikTok. I play this with my followers because it's just free to download. It doesn't really require a beefy PC, so it's good for laptops, good for older PCs. I will, however, say though, it's very floaty. That's the downside to this game. It's probably the most floaty one out of all of them. But it doesn't feel terrible. It's like a good floaty, if that makes sense. It's not like a badly implemented float. So that's just something to consider. There's only a couple of maps, and there's only 2 maps that are really worth playing. This one and the construction arena. The other maps are just a bit bland, a bit meh. Kind of good if you want to practice your sort of cinematic flying, because it's trees and landscape rather than any bando bashing or anything like that. As you can see, I'm trying to get the big 5-incher down the pipes here. My fingers, man. I've been making this video all day long, guys. I've been switching from sim to sim, and my mental health, my insanity is going up. My fingers are dwindling. My fingers will fall off. I cannot fly drones anymore. Anyway, I will not let that impact the quality of this, maybe the quality of the video, but not the quality of this review for this game. I'm still going to give it its deserved gnome rating. You can really see my sanity dropping, can't you? Or increasing, depending on how you look at it. Anyway, it's really fun. It's really fun to just play, convince your friends to play it. It's really not got anything to really say about it. It's a freebie, so I will rate it higher. I'll rate it a little bit higher in what I would normally give it, just because it's free to play. Free to play, no bitching, right? You can't really be angry at it. It's decent. It's also a mobile phone, an iPad, Android, whatever the store you use. It's on those devices on your store. So that's worth mentioning. I can't comment about controller support because I've got an iPad, and iPads are just like, well, Apple's just like, yeah, nah, you're not using anything that's not Apple, so sadly for me. I failed to mention that VelociDrone is also on mobile. I will add that back in via text. Anyways, it's not a bad game. It's fun to just mess about in. I do play this on stream, so it's something to consider. Now, racing in this game's it's crap, to be honest. It's not brilliant. You'll see my racing in a minute. I'll probably just cut the video straight to the racing. That's saved a little bit of time. My controller is whining at me. There we go. It was beeping. That saved a bit of time. This video's already 28 minutes long, and I haven't even reviewed all of them yet. Oh my gosh. I told you guys this is going to be the most comprehensive guide, and I think I am right in saying that and claiming that. Anyway, half of this video is me rambling on like I'm doing now, but I mean, you can see on screen racing. Make your mind up about that. It's kind of hard to race when it's this floaty with a drone that goes so fast and gates that are so small. Yeah. Okay guys, I'm still here, I'm still alive, my sanity is slowly dwindling. There is just so many of these flight simulators. We're here on Uncrashed now. As you can see, the track builder is just the best track builder. There is nothing quite like it. That is the standout feature of this game for me. It's so good. This is one of the ones that I've built, although I did build more of this track, I actually finished it somewhat. I don't know if I just forgot to save it or something. That's a bit of a bummer. I think I might have uploaded it. This one, I called it the Functional Skills Tower, so you can download it on the Steam Workshop and play it for yourself. As you can see, I'm completely sucking at actually trying to do anything with flying the drone. I was messing about with the settings last time I played this, so that could be why. Graphically, really lovely graphics. Really lovely graphics. Not the best, definitely not the worst. Actually, maybe they are the best graphics. It depends. It's got sort of like an Unreal Engine-y, Unity engine-y. I don't even know what engine this is built on, but it's one of those engines. I can't remember which one, but it's kind of got that feel to it. I think it's Unreal. It's got quite an Unreal Engine feel to it, so some people don't like that, some people like it. I like it. I think it looks nice. It's a little bit floaty with certain quad settings, but I'm pretty sure you can kind of eliminate most of that. You can see on the drone setting page that there's all these sliders. So this one is a slider based drone customizer, so you're not really making a custom drone. You're making a custom flight characteristics, so your drone model never changes. I don't think there's a way of even seeing your drone model because I don't think there's any third person, but your drone is changing behind the scenes basically, so you can make your drone pretty much. That being said though, it only goes down to 3 inches and I think maximum of 6 or 7 inches. So you can't really build tiny quads in this game, but you can save them, I think, on the workshop like you can with the tracks. Quote me if I'm wrong, but I think that's a feature. Anyway, let's look at the maps now on the single player. Obviously it has multiplayer, which is really fun. You can actually drive cars in this, and someone can chase you in a drone, so you can chase your friends in cars, which is really funny. Obviously, you've got a whole host of maps on the workshop that you could download. There's my one, Functional Skills Tower in the middle there. I tried to make a Mirror's Edge type inspired map, but it didn't really go very well. I think I got bored. That's on me, that's not on the game. That's purely on me, that one. Anyway, it is the racetrack, so some of these maps have cars in them. Oh, I immediately floated upwards and got stuck in the rafters. Anyway, what I really like about this map is the fact that the races are on the maps and you just fly into them to start them, which is brilliant. Really good. So you can fly around, do some freestyle, and then, you know what, I want to do a race. Fly into the gate and you'll start the race. It's brilliant. More games need this. Really cool feature. I really like it. You don't have to quit the menu. It's super good. As you can see, I am sucking. I think I'm using the 3-inch quad because I've been using a lot of the 3-inch quads in most of these simulators recently because I am considering getting a 3-inch one. I own the AVATA, I own a 4-inch, I own 2 tiny whoops of various sizes. I really want to get a 3-inch because I feel like it's kind of my flight dynamic. I feel like that's where I'm going to be best at, actually, is probably the 3-inch. Anyway, enough about me, more about the game. Really cool. Obviously you can chase these cars. They aren't on rails. A lot of people said that they're on rails. They're not. They collide with each other occasionally. It's an AI driven car, really. They're not on rails. It's not predetermined. They actually do spin out and actually come off the track altogether. It's rare, but they're not on rails, which is nice. It's a bit more organic. This is more my thing. Cinematic FPV freestyle is more my thing. I don't do racing, don't do huge mad tricks. This is kind of more my what I'm comfortable with in real life, so really good simulator for me. I really do enjoy this one, although I don't play it enough because I've either not got enough time or sometimes I just fancy messing about in FPV.Logic, which is also really nice for when I want to practice my FPV freestyle. But this game is close. This is probably going to be very high up there on the gnome scale. Not really much more to say about this. Some of the sliders are a bit like WTF sliders. I don't really... You kind of need to know what you're doing, have a little play around with it. It's not as bad as Tryp. which we will get onto eventually. I need to reinstall that one. It's the one on the list that I actually dreading on reviewing. I think that might be next, guys. That's the one I'm dreading to review. So stick around. I know this is such a long video. Oh my god, we'll both lose our sanity together. But not really much more to say about this. Loads of maps, loads of inbuilt maps. You can build, the track builder isn't just on that flat one that you saw earlier. You can build tracks on any map, which is lovely, and you can download them from the workshop. Really, really good, and I think it's worth the money. In my opinion, I think it's worth the money. Okay guys, I'm saving the best till last, and when I say best, I mean not the best. This is the worst. This is the worst of the worst when it comes to simulators. Having said that, I'm not going to rate it bad. I'm going to rate it how I think it should be rated, because there is some merits to this game. First of all, I really can't bear the UI in the menu. That's something that really needs, really ought to be changed. It's just very confusing. As you can see, long loading times. You do need a NASA supercomputer to fly this simulator. Now, the elephant in the room with this game is the fact that the physics are just so wonky. It's the most bizarre experience I think I've ever had in a drone game. And I've seen people comment on my videos like, oh, why aren't you playing Tryp? Tryp FPV is the most realistic. I don't know what game you're playing. I don't know what game you are playing, because I cannot bear it, right? Can you see and hear the trilling of the motors in this game? This is what I think I'm flying, the 5.1, which is one of the inbuilt drones, and it's having a hard time, right? They've got this feature where you can import black box data, I'm pretty sure, something like that, and do all your PIDs or whatever. I'm pretty sure it's this game we could do that in, but it means absolutely nothing because there's no physics to back it up, right? It's implemented so poorly. However, as you can see, there is some really cool activities. You can chase dirt bikes, I think. Yeah, definitely dirt bikes. Cars, race cars, skiers, ski jumpers, parachuters, base jumpers, hot air balloons. You could do all that, and I really like that. I really like that. So that's, you know, that's some plus gnome points there. But where the gnome points will take it away is everything else, right? Everything else about this game is pure and utter chaos. Like I've said about the graphics, you need a super PC. I have got a 4070 Ti Super. So I've got one of the newest graphics cards. It's a year old. It was a year old in September, so a year and 1 month as of recording this. And I can't play at 100% resolution. I play at 4K normally on my games. I have a 4K monitor. I can't play my full resolution. There's a lot of pop-in, there's a lot of lag. You stutter when you're flying, which is no good for a game like this. You need the smoothest FPS possible for FPV. Now onto the drones. There's 4 drones in the game. Wow, such drones. Crazy number, right? Crazy for all the wrong reasons. You've got the easy mode, which is parts based. You've then got the pro mode, which you can see on screen now, and you need a degree in astrophysics to even remotely make sense of this. It means absolutely nothing. It's a big steaming pile of nothingness, this game. It really, I just cannot bear it. They are in developing new physics for the game, so I will be interesting to see if that brings anything. Sorry for the seizure here, guys. Seizure warning there. That's because I switched to my 2-inch drone, and the game just does not like it. I've tried, so as you can see, I've got so many custom drones there, and you try and build a custom one, and it will do that. If you're lucky, you might be able to get it to fly. This is the Nazgul F5. I fly the F4. So this is relatively similar to mine. But can you see when I throttle up? Look at the bottom stick just then. Go back and watch that. When I just do subtle throttle ups, it teeters like a seesaw. Yeah, the nose goes up and down, and I don't know why it does that. It's like it's trying to simulate weight, but the weight isn't evenly distributed, and it's the real drone doesn't do that. It's horrible. It's so jarring and off-putting. But I don't want to just continue to rant. I will sandwich you with some good points. Maps are gorgeous, huge maps, loads of racing, loads of activities. Really cool map that you can interact with and select where you want to go. There's currently 4 maps. I think that's plenty at the moment for the game of this size, for the maps of these sizes. Again, loading screens can be a bit long. However, one issue with the maps that you will see as I spawn in a moment is that there is dead gaps everywhere. There's a gap there. I try and fly through it, but you kind of clip on invisible geometry. It really breaks the game. It really sucks you out of the immersion. Nothing's aligned properly. It's just really poorly and lazily implemented. I'm not a game developer, so you know, this is just purely my opinions, but I wouldn't have released this personally in this state. I think the game is god awful for the price. It's on the more expensive side, I believe. I will double check that and throw that on screen if I'm wrong, but I think it's probably one of the more expensive ones on this list, and in my opinion it's the most poorly optimized and poorly functional game out of all of them, which is sad because I love the maps, I love the activities that you could do. The racing is nice, I like the gates. However, obviously the racing is going to be impacted by the physics, and the physics are nowhere near there. I cannot describe you the physics. It feels like I've tried with 2 controllers, okay? I've tried this game with 2 controllers. I've set them up. I've calibrated them. I have no other issues in any other game. When I play on this game, it feels like my inputs are... How can I say? It feels like... Have you ever played a driving game that's very arcadey, and then you've driven a driving game that's really sort of professional? You can really see the difference. It feels like I'm driving a tank. Everything just has weird roll input, weird yaw input. It's really boxy. It's like a super boxy experience. It feels like my inputs are almost like a keyboard, like they're not analog. It's like go left and it's 100% left almost. It's not quite like that. Obviously there's incrementation in it, analog controller, but it kind of feels like it's emulating that. It feels like I'm emulating an FPV experience and not actually flying an FPV experience. It's horrible. I honestly would not recommend this game. You might be tempted by the drift cars, you might be tempted by the bikes and the parachutists. Save your money, maybe try it when it gets updated. If it gets updated soon, I will do a future video dedicated on this game, but it's just not worth it. I'm sorry, it really isn't. So there you have it, guys. That is my overly complex, overly long, overly rambly guide to all the drone sims that are worth mentioning. I know I said I'd only mention the ones that are worth mentioning. Tryp was worth mentioning, just as a disclaimer on not to get it. I mean, I'm not the boss of you. You do what you want. If you enjoy Tryp, that's on you. Good luck with that. you know, some people might really like it, and that's absolutely fine. This is just purely my opinions, my guide. If you want to make your own guide, go ahead and prove me wrong, guys. I'll watch it. But this is what I think anyway. Thank you for sticking around. If you stuck around this long, you are a true gnome. You're an OG, original gnome. Well done to you. Anyway, thank you guys. Like I said, other drone sims that aren't on this list, they might be good, they might be bad. I've got a few more. If you want me to do videos on them, let me know. If you want me to do a specific video on any specific one in this list, or perhaps any specific other drone simulator, let me know and I will see if I own it or I might buy it and I will do a review. Over and out, and thank you guys for watching.